Good evening and welcome to the Committee of the Whole meeting, November 15th, 2022. It is currently 5 p.m. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Stacy Bronson Rizzo,
Here.
Mr. Michael Ferranti,
Here.
Miss Susan Gravelisi, Mr. John Kingston,
Here.
Mrs. Aisha Milbury Ellis,
Present.
Miss Carol Ty,
Here.
Mayor Brian Rigo.
First item on the agenda is the consent calendar. Anyone have any questions of the minutes that were submitted this week? Okay, seeing none. We're at warrants and we have Mr. Cruz here. So does anyone have questions for Mr. Cruz? Mr. Ferranti?
Thank you, Ms. Bronson Rizzo. Matt, I got only a couple of questions. Page 1, number 41, legal services for about $16,000. Could you just give me a breakdown of what that is?
Sure. Just before I answer, wanted to mention Mr. Kingston. I did not miss your recommendation last time about a possibility of providing the committee with these bills earlier in the month so that I can give responses that can be included in what's actually published. So we're working on that and hope to give that a shot the first couple of days of December. We'll see how it goes. These legal services, so those would be any bills for the month of October that came in from our lawyers.
Right.
We'd have to go to the detail to see the breakout of each of them. Not an unusual amount. It can fluctuate higher, a little bit lower, but that's about what we would be paying on a month. And then, for example, this is the kind of backup that I could include in the report to avoid this part of the meeting, and you'd actually have the answers in hand. So, but those are our typical monthly bills paid to the lawyers.
On page 5, I have one for number 158, Apex Learning Instructional Service. Just a quick explanation of that, please.
So Apex is the online credit recovery program that we use for high school and City Lab students.
Thank you. 162, Severn Intermediate College and Career Program.
I believe that that's the parent company for, I'm going to forget the name of it, that the kids put their Naviance.
Yes, one of the challenges is the vendor names in our world change on a triannual basis. And so that's a new name, but it's for the standard college preparatory program that the guidance department uses for all students moving through the high school. Both of those would be annual fees. The way those contracts are written, we'll pay that fee at the start of the school year for services rendered for the whole of the school year.
Okay, I'm all set. Thank you.
Anyone else have questions? Ms. Ty?
Page 2, please, number 43 and 44, the Division of Employment and regarding unemployment. It was just a surprise to me that we had that we owed that much money in unemployment. And I was wondering if you could give any general insight on that.
Sure. That number has fluctuated much higher in a month in the worst of the pandemic, and then much lower at times. What often happens with this bill is there's a dispute or there is an uncertainty, and so we will not be billed, but the individual will be receiving their unemployment check, and then when it gets settled, we might get a bill for someone for 7 months. So we're not tracking monthly at this level. We're paying a cumulative amount when they are sure this person has received the appropriate amount. The school department is for it. So if you went to the detail in this bill, you might see 2 or 3 individuals that this is for 16 weeks of their unemployment, we're paying that bill when they're ready to receive it.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Ms. Milbury Ellis?
Sure, Matt, I just have a general question. With everything, in the cost increasing just all around, are you seeing any increases that are like concerning or that you're kind of keeping an eye on?
So we will feel that more as we begin to budget for next year, that we will have actual costs that we're paying for this year and be able to track them to say, how does this compare to what we had budgeted? We also have so many things that are negotiated 6 months or more ahead of time. So I'm paying the bills now for costs that were pre a bunch of the inflation that we're experiencing. When we go to work on those contracts this winter, spring, and we notice the jump in them, we will feel that. So you'll see some of that analysis as we begin to start building budget in February or March. Also, we haven't hit the cold season yet, so utilities and things, being that it's November, we know what's coming. That question will have sharper teeth to it in the spring than it does in the fall. Yeah.
Anyone else? Matt, I have one question, and it might be related to Michael's as far as new vendors or new names. 118 to 141, el.us for tutoring incapacitated students. I didn't know if this was a vendor that changed names or a new vendor.
You would not have seen that vendor name before because I hadn't.
Okay.
If it had a different history, I don't know. What we do there is the SPED department estimates what their tutoring costs are going to be for kids who cannot get to the school building, and then works with a couple of vendors actually to prepare for the year. So because this was new and they're billing individually as we're ramping up for this, that's why you see such a huge amount of individual bills, but the cost is not exorbitant. So you'll see EL, but you'll see less payments a month as we go forward. That's a new vendor in the special education department for the tutoring.
Thank you so much.
And I'll just clarify, the vendor is EI. It does look like an L, but it's not.
My old age. Okay, anyone
So-
else have questions for Matt? On the warrants?
So just one other note for me, don't forget in the school committee meeting to vote that appropriation of the carry forward funds. We'll do that in November. I'll get City Hall to get those in our accounting, and then we'll be able to start running monthly projections with all of the funds that are coming to us. So that's a vote of the school committee, but it has to happen in the second meeting. So I know it's on the docket, just saying that those numbers are ready for you.
Matt, a question on the chapter 40. And would that, because I know it would have to have majority vote of school committee, majority vote of city council, if it pertains to the special education or transportation.
Yep.
So would that be an issue if we voted tonight for a special education coach or any of our paras that will go into the educational classrooms?
No.
Okay.
You're fine to do that. We have several mechanisms that allow for us to make sure that our spending for special education costs are meeting both Commonwealth and federal requirements. So you'll vote in appropriation of those things. I'll begin to charge the proper places for that, and then again on the back end, that will wash out where we need to do. So you'll be fine with that.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. Financial reports that are attached. Anyone have questions? Seeing none, we thank you, Matt, for being here and helping us out. Next one would be food service financials, and we don't have any. Next item is communications and the disposal of scrap metal at all schools from Mr. Carl Svensson. Anyone have any questions on that? Enrollment update, none. Personal items is attached to our packet. Anyone have any questions on that? Mr. Ferranti?
This is the superintendent. How is the paraprofessional hires and let-goes working out for us? Are we still having the same problem?
Yes, we haven't done anything different since last we met. If the committee approves those positions that we talked about, that could show some change, but it's really been the same this month as it has been in previous months.
Thank you.
And I'd like to add, as far as the paraprofessionals, Shore Collaborative meeting last Tuesday, Malden, Chelsea, Everett, Somerville, and Winthrop. Most of them have full-time paraprofessionals, and they cannot, I think Medford and Everett are trying to fill 20 on each one. So it's really not a matter of full-time, part-time anymore. It's just the way this world is going right now and the shortage. So, I mean, it will be nice if it can help us out. More importantly, I think it will help the students and the classroom out more so. But if everything can work together, hey, it's a win-win. Okay, Ms. Ty?
I just have a question for the superintendent, so through you to the superintendent. How many open slots do we have now? I hope none.
And I wish Richie was here because he would know exactly, but I believe that we were at 12.
12 is on School Spring.
Yeah. I believe that's where we are still.
And is there any particular area in which you,
They vary. I mean, special education is our greatest need, but there are positions across the district in various schools, and as Dr. Garcia is indicating, in our EL program as well.
I noticed that you actually have some new teachers who have decided to leave. Is that problematic, or is it just their own particular circumstances?
It's always problematic when teachers leave mid-year. As you know, it definitely results in a bit of a disruption for the kids. In some of these cases, there were some family issues going on that people need to make decisions in order to take care of family members, particularly parents in 2 of the cases. And I know that there are other situations where teachers just decided that this wasn't the right fit for them.
Well, it's good that they decide that and act upon it and move on with their lives. And we hope, wish them success. Thank you.
Okay, we have no donations, unless someone wants to come forward. Unfortunately, no school field trips right now. And we're looking at meeting dates for January through June. I meant to write them down, but it's the 3rd Tuesday of each month. Here, calendar right here. So we would also have a, that's December. So January, we usually have a meeting, organizational meeting on the 3rd, with our regular meeting on the 17th.
Is the organizational meeting in January always, isn't it on the first
It's usually the
Monday
first
after?
Monday, but that's New Year's
No inauguration.
and no inauguration.
Oh, okay, all right, so it'll be on the 3rd?
I mean, I'm assuming.
I feel like there might be a city bylaw. I'm not positive, but maybe we could check with the mayor's office.
Well, the inauguration has to be the first Monday of the month.
Oh, that might be what I'm thinking of. That would be January 2nd.
And the first
Yeah.
Monday would be New Year's Eve.
Okay.
So we have the 3rd, Ms.
Madam
Ty?
Chair? Well, I was thinking then, if maybe we had a meeting on the 3rd, that instead of meeting on the 17th, we might move to the 24th, because if you're looking at your calendar right now, you can see that we have 5 dates in January. And it doesn't make any difference to me, but that might be it. Because then as I was looking ahead, I saw that if you went on the 24th, February and March are both on the 21st, the 3rd, and April is the 18th. And in May, again, we might want to look about, do we want it on the 16th or on the 23rd? And then on June 20th. Just if we want to vary it, we don't even have to decide right now,
Well,
but we should be.
I mean, I think it's best to be stable for the community and for others scheduling. I know I have meetings on the 4th Tuesday of each month. Isha does also.
Okay. Fine, it didn't make any difference to me, so,
For the most part, I don't have a life, so it wouldn't
Yeah.
make a difference for me either, but,
Are we gonna meet on the holidays in February, the school vacation in the 18th and 21st in February?
we didn't even get through January yet.
Well, I'm just going ahead a little bit.
Okay.
I will say that last year, that was a challenge in terms of principals and students presenting to the school committee.
Yes.
Meeting on the school vacation week was a bit of a burden for them.
Yes, it is.
well, do we want to change that to the 25th?
Well, let's get January squared away
I mean,
here.
we don't necessarily have to have those certain presentations on those nights. We can build on something school committee-wide, you know. What's the recommendation from the members?
We should get
I
January.
mean, personally, I would like to see stability and,
Then let's do the 17th then, for January. Third Tuesday.
now you're back to January?
Well, we can't get any
We
further.
can nail that one down, right?
So are we all set for the 3rd and the 17th? I can't.
All right, so the 3rd is the organizational meeting, the 17th is the school
Is
committee.
regular meeting.
We agree to that?
Fine?
Okay.
I can't believe we're even doing this on TV.
Is there any reason why the organizational meeting has to be on the 3rd? If there's no parameter, like could that be wrapped into the 17th?
I believe bylaws say
I don't know.
at the, after the,
Isn't
I
that
don't know.
after the
You know what?
election?
I think it's
How
the first
about,
one.
instead of we discussing all this, we'll look at the dates, we can send them out, and that way we can check what, with the city clerk about what the bylaws is and what our policies state. How does people feel about that?
Fine.
Okay, so any regular meeting agenda items or miscellaneous items that people would like to bring up at this time? Well, so at this point, no one has anything to bring up. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Mr. Ferranti with the motion, Ms. Milbury Ellis with the second. This school committee of the whole meeting is adjourned at 5:21, and we'll see everyone back at 6 PM for our regular school committee meeting. Thank you.